আপনারা দেখছেন টকিং পয়েন্ট।
Welcome back to Talking Point. Our guest today is Councillor Unmesh Desai from Niham Council. Councillor Desai, we were talking about the different aspects of a councillor's life in Niham Council and the problems and perceptions of people and how best to get out of the services and during this era of economic crisis. What is the percentage of British Bangladeshis in Niham area?
It's growing, already well established. Many people moving from Tower Hamlets, but people, British Bangladeshi, sort of growing up, born in Niham and growing up in Niham. In terms of the ethnic minority community in Niham is around 70% of 65% of Niham's population. Around 40 to 50% is of people from the Indian subcontinent, and I would say that the British Bangladeshi community is the fastest growing component.
This is the third generation of...
Indeed. But also the Bangladeshi community in Niham is now establishing itself and has established itself, in fact, in a number of ways. Business-wise, you only have to go to Green Street to see how the nature of the shopping centers and the arcades and the shops are changing.
It's no more the particular
in politics,
restaurant, but they have gone into...
Well, certainly the restaurant trade has always been dominated by British Bangladeshis, offering a variety of diets from all over the subcontinent. Politics, we now have 4 British councillors of British Bangladeshi origin.
In Niham.
Yeah, which roughly reflects the British Bangladeshi population in Niham. And all doing a very good job, striving to represent...
Out of 60, you have 4.
Out of 60, 4. We have people from British Indian backgrounds, from British Pakistani backgrounds, 2 or 3 African origin councillors, people from the Caribbeans, indigenous white working class community-based councillors. Of course, you always strive for better representation, not just numbers, but also a better representation. In sports, if you look at the local football scene, for instance, the local cricket scene, people trying to make their way up, and I know that West Ham United Football Club are actively trying to develop links with local communities to get the best talent from all communities.
They usually have a junior team, a young...
Indeed. So both in the sporting world, in the business world, in the financial world, in the political world, the British Bangladeshi community in Niham is making an impact. And as I said at the speech 2 years ago to celebrate Bangladesh Independence Day, that the day is a reminder of the contribution that the British Bangladeshi community is making to Niham's life in all these aspects, political, economic and social.
What is the job situation? How many young people are unemployed? What is the percentage? And what is the percentage among those unemployed of Bangladeshi people?
Well, the job situation is something clearly that we have concerns about. And of course, you've got the national patterns, you've got London-wide patterns. But through programs like Workplace, through our arrangements with sort of local major partners, Excel, City Airport, the leisure trade, Westfields, we actually are encouraging local employers to take on people from all backgrounds, which of course includes British Bangladeshi young kids. I think our role is really to break down the barriers. See, for me, equal opportunity is about equality of opportunity, making sure that everyone starts off from a level playing field. If they don't, the job of the council is ensure that they are actually equipped They have the tools to set up, to compete on equal basis. And that is what our policies are designed to do. Yes, youth unemployment is an issue amongst all communities. And at the level of educational achievement as well, is, although our GCSE results this year were very, very good, and they were above the national sort of average.
But do they stop
they
there?
bucked the national
do
trend.
they go beyond the GCSE and O levels?
And that is something that we're always looking at, the nature of our secondary schooling education. How can we do better? Primary school results, as I say, we bucked the national trend. The GCSE results bucked the national trend, but above the national average. More children are going to universities, including the more prestigious Russell Group universities. But we are also looking at people who don't want to follow traditional educational paths. It's about vocational training, about technical training. So it's about developing programs that actually match people's skills so they can actually enter the job market and compete on an equal basis.
Do many of Newham young people go to the Docklands and join the white-collar job market? Do they?
Increasingly. Was it the City Airport? I was at a presentation that they did the other day, and they're going to provide us with figures of who they employ. But they employ a lot of people from the local area, but also the apprenticeship, not just City Airport, but other major employers, because of the diverse range of Newham's communities and the links that schools have with local businesses through, we've got institutions like the East London Business Alliance and other partnerships. We actually act as a channel for those potential employees to be matched up with employers.
Right.
But it's actually, as you say, ensuring that all sections of communities actually benefit from these various programs.
Right. Still talking about young people, since you are on the committee of crime and protection and probably drugs also, what is the drug situation among Newham youths?
Well, it's something that I think does concern us all, and it's a sad reflection of what goes on around us. People get addicted, young children, they're organized gangs that supply these drugs. A lot of the crime of an opportunist nature in particular is fueled by people who want quick money, easy cash to buy drugs. And I believe what we need to do is actually both looking at helping people who want to break out from the drug dependency cycle, to genuinely want help.
You have teams that counsel?
Well, we have a drugs advisory team and so on. But it's a lot of money goes into drug prevention work, into drugs advisory programs. How effective is it? The problem is still there. So I think what we've got to do is to see who actually wants to be helped. Right. See, we've got a resilience strategy in Newham. Yes, the council has responsibilities, people have rights, but you don't have rights without responsibilities. Our whole philosophy is, in all aspects of life, is about helping people to stand up for themselves. That's what we call building resilience. So let's apply it to our drug prevention work. We expect our professionals to identify people who actually want help. And then, yes, let's help. It's better to help 5 people who can break out from the drug cycle completely and genuinely want help than spreading money over 30, 40 people for whom, you can pour money down the drain, but then the need for the next fix, they will go out and commit a crime. It's like youth offending. Identify people who want to break out from that cycle of offending, give them all the help that they need.
Yes.
I mean, the reality is, with all the cuts going on around us, we're not sitting on a bottomless pit of money.
Right.
So it's about how you use that money effectively to achieve your ends. So there are a number of organizations, third sector organizations, voluntary organizations, that deal with drugs all over East London. But I think it's about looking at what success we've achieved so far. There have also been failures, we've got to be honest and admit that. The level of drug dependency is still very, very high. The links with crime, we all know about that. So it's about how we target those limited resources
Do you have
more effectively.
rehabilitation centers in Newham?
Well, there are centers, and
Counsellors?
there are professional assessments done and referrals made to those centers. But I come back to the main point. It is a serious issue. The links with crime are well documented. It's about how we use scarce resources more effectively, especially in the present times, and actually target people who can be helped, who want to be helped, and not make the mistakes that we made, over the last 2 to 3 decades, where there's been lots of money, going down, going to various projects, various sort of programs, and yet we've seen the sad results of drug addiction, people, families destroyed, societies, communities destroyed.
Is it because people who are the drug barons, they are one step ahead of?
Well, that was the second part. The first part is helping people who want to help themselves. It was, of course, targeting the gangs, the international gangs, the people who use mules from countries like Jamaica and Latin America.
Right.
The mule carriers are the ones who are poor people, desperate people, who will do anything to smuggle drugs in for the drugs barons because they are impoverished from poor communities.
Right.
It's those international gangs and cutting the flow of the supply into this country.
Okay.
So it's quite a complex area with lots of aspects to it. The international gangs, the mule carriers, how the drugs come in, how they're sold on our streets, the drug dealers. But as I said, there's also the other side of the coin, the victims.
Yep. Well, that's the human loss, isn't it? What about the education of our youth in your Newham area? I mean, you talked about GCSE and having good results.
Yes.
But do those who get good results at GCSE and A levels, and do they really go beyond that and achieve? Go to universities, good universities?
Increasingly so. And in fact, if you look at Newham, if I can give some concrete examples, we now got Stratford, a free school in Stratford, 2 free schools in fact, the London Academy of Excellence, which is basically a partnership with the Russell Group of Universities. The whole idea is that they actually provide those first-rate facilities at 6th form level and target children who have actually grown up in Newham and done their GCSEs in Newham, and then can help them get on the first step of the ladder into sort of universities with well-established departments and develop careers. So it's about keeping that level of aspiration, not letting go of that vision, that we can always try to do better. So yes, the results are improving all the time. They may not be improving at the same rate as schools that are more well-funded and so on. So yes, education, people, quite rightly want the best for their children. But when you look at the statistics, our GCSE results year in, year out are improving. More and more children are going to university.
Finally, Councillor, how would you wrap it up? How does the picture look in Newham and your job and whatever you have achieved so far?
A bright place, lots of challenges, a lot of challenges met, a lot more to do, but we got every reason to be confident of building a better Newham and building on the successes of the 2012 Olympics. And don't give up hope. That's the message I want to give to your listeners. Vision, aspiration, resilience. The council is there. We have been elected by you. We have the resources, as I said, limited resources in the current climate, but our job is to help people stand up for themselves, get the best out of their local society, the local economy, and the future for the tent is bright.
On that very hopeful note, Councillor Unmesh Desai, we come to the end of this talking point. And sadly, the time always wins. So we come to the end. And thank you for being with us. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.